I'm going to start today's rant with a quick question. Who is the hardest worker? The guy who leaves work on time or the guy who stays 3 hours late at work? Now I want you to pause because I know you all answered the guy who stays late at work, and I want you to think about this. How could you possibly know the answer to that question without knowing what they accomplished during the day? Now, the reason I say this is because the military has a great habit of getting shit done, but they have a really bad habit of judging how that got done. And what I mean by this is this. As an entrepreneur, I sit around and think, how can I get the most possibly done in this 3-hour window? But when you're on a salary or a W-2 job that doesn't count hours and doesn't count productivity and doesn't have metrics, it's very easy to say, how could I get the least done in this 8 hours to just go home? How do I just go home? And we all know, you have it in your mind right now, who that guy is. And if you don't, you're probably that guy. So sorry, I hate to break it to you. But you all know who that guy is right now, who sits around with his feet on his desk, plays Angry Birds all day, whatever, wastes time all day. Water cooler, coffee pot, I don't know, sits in meetings, does whatever. And the end of the day comes and they realize they didn't do shit, so they stay late at work. Now, you all said, maybe there's one anomaly, but you probably all said that the guy who stayed late at work was the hardest worker. I beg to differ. I think the person who's efficient, gets all his crap done, and goes home on time is the hardest worker. But unfortunately, everybody judges the same way you do. So those of us who are efficient and get our work done and try to leave are viewed as slackers or bums or just useless. And that's garbage. On recruiting duty, the fat or lazy recruiters are often the best recruiters because they understand if I do this, this, and this, I can go home. Whereas the guys who just... there's two kinds of workers. There's the guy who just tries to make it through the wall. And there's the guy who says, if I go 50 yards this way, I can walk around the wall. Which one are you? Are you trying to find, we all say work smarter, not harder, but are you actually trying to work smarter? Are you prioritizing your work so that you're proactive and you get your stuff done ahead of time? Are you so far ahead that you could go? Can you physically justify what you did through the day? Can you count the amount of time you're on your phone? Now, I know that I spend time on my phone, but luckily I don't have that at work. So I'm forced to not use my phone at work. And ironically, I spend a lot of time going like this because I'm in a very reactive job. So when the phones aren't ringing, the emails aren't coming in, there's not a whole lot to do in my office right now. And I have been having to find things to do to occupy myself because I'm very quick and I get it done. I still have people that I know, and I'm not going to name names, and I'm not going to say it's in my office, but there are still people that I know who will just run around all day looking busy, and oh my God, everything's so important. Blah, 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 blah. They didn't accomplish anything throughout the day. And then they're so busy. Oh my God, his work is killing me. It's terrible. And it's true. And you know exactly who I'm thinking of. So I would challenge you to take that status quo, throw it out, and be the change. Be the efficient guy. Read the 4-hour work week. Read Principles of Execution and execute, take action, make stuff happen, and help beat that status quo that staying late at work makes you a hard worker, because it's killing those of us who get our work done and want to go home, but you're slacking off because you want to go home. Like, no, I just want to balance my work life and my family life, and I'm not in combat right now. So for those of you who don't do anything all day and stay late at work and think that makes you productive, sorry, not sorry, you're not productive. But for those of you who actually do grind it out and get a lot of stuff done, kudos. Whether you go home on time, whether you go home early, or whether you stay late, good on you. Make sure that every day you're squeezing the most out of that time. Sit down and chart out what you actually did for the day. Take count of how much time you were on your phone. Take count of how much time you were in your emails. No, email is 95% not productive. It's just... People make fun of me because I just delete stuff if I'm not in the to line. I figure if I'm just CC'd, it wasn't that important to me unless, if it's a certain subject, I'll save it in a folder. But unless I'm in the to line, don't care. And people are like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Oh, what if nothing? If it was that important, they would have sent it to you. And if it's that important, they'll send it to you again. And if they didn't send it to you and they come asking like, why didn't you do this, and this, I'll be like, what? It wasn't sent to me. Oh, well, you're carbon copied. Yeah. You know what that means? That means like FYI. That doesn't mean, here, do this. No, to line. So there are very simple things you can do at work to just clean your plate off and reprioritize. Make sure you're doing that. make sure you're being effective, make sure you're being efficient. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your job, and you owe it to everybody around you to be as efficient as humanly possible, and then not to just sit around the work like a miserable bum during the day, and then sit around work like a miserable bum at night because you didn't get your stuff done and you can't go home. So that is my rant today on being efficient, being effective, and don't judge the people who get their crap done. It is your fault. You didn't get your crap done. You can't go home.